This is a real good story about Bronx and his dad, Ryan, real United Airlines customers.
We were returning home, and one of the flight attendants asked Bronx if he wanted to see the flight deck and meet Captain Andrew.
I got to sit in the driver's seat.
I grew up in an aviation family, and seeing Bronx kind of reminded me of myself when I was that age.
That's Andrew, a real United pilot.
These small interactions can shape a kid's future.
It felt like I was the captain.
Allowing my son to see the flight deck will stick with us forever.
That's how good leads the way.
Getting ready to step into your career era? Set yourself apart with Adobe Creative Cloud Pro for students. Hone your skills with apps like Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere Pro, and more, powered with the latest in creative AI. Students save over 55% so you can build a portfolio you're proud of. Launch your future with Adobe Creative Cloud Pro for students. Visit adobe.com/students to learn more.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Breaking news.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, there is word that a meeting with Zorhan Mamdani and President Trump could happen in the next few weeks before Mandani actually takes office. By the way, when he gets sworn in, do you think he's going to put his hand on the Bible, or do you think it'll be on the Quran? What do you think? Remember, there was that Ellison guy in Minneapolis. He put his hand on the Quran. So will he say, yeah, I abide to the Constitution of the United States? Or is he going to put his own little words in there? Who knows, guys? We'll see. But there is word that that meeting may happen well before he takes office. And that is going to be, of course, January 1st. So that's not that far away. Also, we are hearing tonight that ICE is going to expand operations in New York City. So the question is that going to happen before Mandani takes office? Is it going to happen surely during, while he takes office? And how is that going to work out? Because remember, during the debates, Zorhan Mamdani, the mayor-elect and self-described Democratic socialist, radical Democratic socialist, he has said that he is not going to allow the NYPD to cooperate with ICE. So they're going to come into New York, try to round up some bad folks, especially those with past severe criminal records. I don't think anybody disagrees with that. And yet, Zorhan Mamdani is going to tell the NYPD, you cannot help them. You can't cooperate. You can't give intelligence. You can't give any physical help. There's a lot of stuff there. So how is that going to work out? And is that something that you think he will talk about with President Trump? He said he wants to talk about affordability, but you know darn well there will probably be discussions about all of that as well. And President Trump's going to say, you want money? Here's what I'm expecting from you. Trump is not going to cut some deal with this guy for policies that are so contrary to what's good for New York, whether it has to do with businesses or safety and security, some of the anti-Semitic comments and policies, the BDS, the divesting out of Israel on so many different levels. President Trump's not going to want to have that. You kidding me? So this is going to be an interesting moment. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. And let's take a walk down memory lane because, of course, Zorhan Mamdani has said some pretty interesting things about defunding the police and also sending money to social workers instead of having more police on the streets. How does that make New York safer? This is what he said just a few years ago.
About defund the NYPD, the entirety of the push is defund the NYPD and refund all of these different social services and things that actually create safety.
Now changing his tune, claiming he doesn't want to defund the police.
I've been very clear about my view of public safety and the critical role that police have in creating that. The vision that we've put forward in this campaign, despite what others may say, is not to defund the police. It is, in fact, to allow those officers to respond to these serious crimes that many of them signed up to address.
Well, the police are going, we signed up to actually protect and serve, to go on tough assignments, not to have a social worker go in our place and then to get hauled in before the Civilian Complaint Review Board. And also, let's not forget this. Can you imagine if he's sitting next to Donald Trump? If I'm Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is so smart, he's going to have all these people around him. He's watching everything that's happening in New York. So he's looking at everything and the backgrounds and all that. So if he knows these crazy comments this guy made, he's going to go, so who are you planning on taxing? How are you going to pay for buses? What are you going to do? And then Zorhan Mamdani, let's see if he would repeat this in front of President Trump.
It's not driven by race. It's more of an assessment of what neighborhoods are being undertaxed versus overtaxed. We've seen time and again that this is a property tax system that is inequitable. It's one that actually Eric Adams ran on saying that he would change in the first 100 days. He's since sought to defend it and lost at every juncture in court.
And I understand you're saying we're simply describing the types of neighborhoods that would see these increase in taxes. And yet by invoking race, do you run the risk of potentially alienating key constituents?
I think I'm just naming things as they are. And ultimately, the thing that motivates me in this is to create a system of fairness. It is not to work backwards from a racial assessment of neighborhoods or our city. Rather, it's to ensure that we actually have an equal playing field. And right now, what we see with the property tax system is one that is overtaxing a number of New Yorkers and undertaxing others, and an inability of political will to resolve that.
And that was him answering why he made the statement that he would like to tax white people more. That was his explanation. And then let's not forget that he wants to also arrest the Prime Minister of Israel.
And Mayor Mamdani, would you welcome Prime Minister Netanyahu to New York City for whatever he comes for, given the U.S. is not a signatory to the ICC, so he can travel to the U.S., unlike a lot of other countries. Would a Mayor Mamdani welcome Benjamin Netanyahu to the city?
No. As mayor, New York City would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. This is a city that our values are in line with international law. It's time that our actions are also.
Even though the U.S. is not a signatory to the ICC?
No, it's time that we actually step up and make clear what we are willing to do to showcase the leadership that is sorely missing in the federal administration.
That's incredible. He sticks by that. So what, is he going to say that with a straight face to President Trump? President Trump's going to go, are you crazy? You're the mayor of New York City, and you are not like beholden to some crazy international fringe law that nobody believes with their right mind that it's appropriate, but you're going to use that as an excuse? It'll be like, Trump will be like, this guy is pretty funny. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Norm in Brooklyn, line 4. Go ahead, Norm.
Well, first thing, happy birthday, Rita.
Thank you, Norm. Thank you. I get to spend the last hour with you guys. So I'm so happy, which is beautiful. Thank you, my friend.
You're welcome. Well, I have two favorite prominent blondes. One is Rita Cosby, and the other is Marjorie Taylor Greene. I suspect one is having a lot better time these days than the other.
Yeah, I am having a good birthday, and I think she's having a bad day. What do you make of all that? It's interesting to see, by the way, the separation there. Maybe I haven't seen her reaction since the vote that came down. Maybe you have. But she was pushing for this big time, obviously, to release the Epstein files.
She has been my hero at times, mostly with January 6th.
Yeah, and by the way, she was great on that. She was a fighter for the president, 100%.
And I like her kind of bubbly, kind of goofy personality. Like she'll wear her MAGA hat when no one else is wearing a MAGA hat. She shouts out. She's not scared. I remember she was not scared. She got into Biden's face over Lake and Riley.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
But, I don't know what's happened, she is apparently some sort of a purist. I don't know. I didn't appreciate her position on Israel. I don't appreciate, I don't know, her going on The View and CNN, and I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I just don't know. But, for me, it's kind of disappointing. But she's she's different. That's all I can say. She's very different.
Yeah, and by the way, she is different.
I didn't like something she said about questioning genocide, saying something she didn't want to say something was genocide, something like that about Israel. I found that very disturbing.
I did too. By the way, and Norm, by the way, there are a number of those that are, that are sort of in the same, a few sort of a fringe, if you will, making some comments that I agree. I do not obviously agree with, her genocide comments about Israel, and some of the others have made similar ones, I believe. There's a couple others. I don't agree with that, as you don't either. On the other hand, like you just said, she's always been kind of feisty and spirited and colorful, and seems very steadfast. And we'll see. We'll see what happens, with everything, after maybe all this stuff comes out. Maybe there'll be a kumbaya, with her and the president. And I hope so, because I think it would be, good for the country. I don't like to see, families or parties infighting. Fight against the other guys, but don't fight amongst yourselves if you can avoid it. So I feel the same way you do too, Norm. And in fact, Norm, I want to play This is President Trump, because boy, oh boy, today he's talking to this ABC reporter, and he went after her because she starts asking all these crazy, crazy questions. And you got to hear this exchange. This is today. He's sitting next to the Crown Prince, and this ABC television reporter asks a couple questions.
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
It's not the question that I mind. It's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. You're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. And I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did. Andrew Weissman, I hear. All these guys were friends of his. You don't even talk about those people. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today. It's a hoax. Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, zero, no money to me. But he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax. And ABC's, your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
So why not just sign it now?
I think the license should be taken away from ABC because your news is so fake and it's so wrong. And we have a great commissioner, the chairman, who should look at that, because I think when you come in and when you're 97% negative to Trump and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible and you're not credible as a reporter. So I've answered your question. You should go and look at the Democrats who received money from Epstein, who spent their time. Larry Summers was with him all the time. That creep, the fund guy, was with him all the time. What's his name? Who? Reid Hoffman. I don't know Reid Hoffman, but I know he spends a lot of money on the radical left. Reid Hoffman, in my opinion, should be under investigation. He's a sleazebag. And those are the people, but they don't get any press, they don't get any news, and you're not after the radical left because you're a radical left network. But I think the way you ask a question with the anger and the meanness is terrible. You ought to go back and learn how to be a reporter. No more questions from you. Who else has a question?
Classic Trump. Going after the reporter, calling Jeffrey Epstein a sick pervert. Boy, oh boy, I take no prisoners. And that's why we love President Trump. Let's go to Eduardo in Tampa real quick. Eduardo, go ahead.
Yeah, happy birthday, Rita.
Thank you, Eduardo.
Before the end of the show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, Chicago's, unfortunately, New York's going to go. Chicago and New York are almost like cousins because they had high property taxes recently. They had a lady that burned at one of the subways, just like the Ukraine lady in Charlotte. It's pretty ridiculous. You have characters like Jamar Bowman who pull alarms. and this Stacy, what's her name? Stacy Plaxett from U.S. Virgin Islands.
Oh, yeah.
Texting Jeffrey Epstein during the Michael Cohen hearing. Can you imagine if that was a Republican doing that?
Yeah, that's unbelievable. I want to explain to everybody because I'm so glad you brought that up. He's literally texting her while she's there, supposed to be, asking questions of then Trump attorney Michael Cohen. And now we get that in real time. The documents are showing, hey, basically ask him about this. You can cross-connect by checking this, feeding information. And meanwhile, Jeffrey Epstein, there were already details out about Jeffrey Epstein. Can you imagine a member of Congress? And they have the gall, Eduardo, to be saying, oh, Trump, Trump, Trump. And meanwhile, she's getting fed information and in touch with them. They're texting each other. They're chummy. I mean, what does that say to you? That looks like a bunch of hypocrites at minimum.
Yeah, we just need to stick to the policies, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree, and that's why. By the way, Eduardo, that's why I think the documents coming out. I actually do think it's a good thing because I believe at the end of the day, believe me, if there was something, it already would have come out, and none of the victims have said that. And those who maybe did commit something against the victims, they need to be called out. Obviously, those who maybe their name is mentioned but didn't have something to do with it, maybe it was an association, that needs to be cleared up. We got to make sure that we're fair to everybody, too. But if somebody did something to one of these young girls and they've gotten away with it, they should get away with it no more. And that should come out. And I think once it gets out, you're going to probably, it looks like to me, see a lot more Democratic names than any Republican ones, or at least overwhelmingly. It sure seems that way. Already it seems like a lot of Democrats are running for cover, like Larry Summers. 1-800-848-9222. And everybody will continue your calls after the break here on The Rita Cosby Show.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's easy to get stuck reaching for the same familiar fruits and vegetables, even when you know a colorful variety is key. Balance of Nature's fruits and veggie supplements don't replace fruits and vegetables, but it makes it easy to add more variety to what you already eat. With 31 ingredients that are whole fruits and vegetables, switching it up is easy because we've already taken care of the hard part. Go to balanceofnature.com and get a free fiber and spice supplement, plus 35% off your first set as a new preferred customer by using discount code POD.
This is the Rita Cosby Show.
Tony is giving away my age, everybody. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Joaquin in Pennsylvania. Joaquin.
Good evening, Rita. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be with all of you guys. It makes it so special.
I hope you're having a really good day, and I hope that you have many more happy, healthy ones to come.
Thank you. Thank you. I will with all of you guys because there's so much news. I won't be bored, Joaquin, right?
That's right. That's right. I at least want to get on and get that in there. But, since John Katzenbertidis was on earlier, and maybe he's still listening, perhaps he could share my idea with President Trump to have Bibi Netanyahu in the Oval Office, because that would actually be a middle finger also to the International Criminal Court and community.
Yeah, I love that. By the way, I'll also tell that to John when I see him tomorrow. I think he'll love that idea.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Rita Cosby is on.
Never, never. I'm with all of you. 1-800-848-9222. Thank you, Tony. Very nice selection there. And meantime, it was a very interesting day at the White House, guys, as you're listening to the Rita Cosby Show. I'm going to be with you for another 30 minutes or so, about 25 minutes of my birthday. So I'm celebrating with you guys, which I absolutely love. And boy, you would have thought it was like royalty extraordinaire, which it truly was, at the White House today. You see the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, and he got a royal greeting. Remember when President Trump went to Saudi? It was like incredible. I mean, it was so over the top with the gold and the horses and the swords and all the dancing and everything. So President Trump did his version of it at the White House today, and it was a grand arrival fit for a prince. And Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince talked a lot about peace in the Middle East. Take a listen.
I already brought him up. What did you say? I think I got a positive response. Would you like to respond?
Yeah, so definitely we believe having a good relation with all Middle Eastern countries is a good thing, and we want to be part of the Ibrahim Accord, but we want also to be sure that we secure a clear path of two-state solution. And today we have a healthy discussion with Mr. President that we're going to work on that to be sure that we can prepare the right situation as soon as possible to have that.
I think I don't want to use the word commitment, but we've had a very good talk on the Abraham Accords. We talked about one state, two state. We talked about a lot of things in a short period of time. We'll be discussing it further, too. But I think you have a very good feeling for the Abraham Accords.
Yes, definitely, Mr. President. We want peace for the Israelis. We want peace for the Palestinians. We want them to coexist peacefully in the region. And we will do our best to reach that date.
And the defense agreement, have you reached an agreement on that? We pretty much have.
That was an interesting little bell there on the end. Well, President Trump did not like questions coming again from this ABC television reporter. She didn't seem to have any sort of positive questions whatsoever. And there was the Crown Prince, and she was asking a question about the 9/11 families, and listen to how President Trump responded.
Is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest? And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office. Why should Americans trust you? And the same to you, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You're with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news. ABC fake news. One of the worst in the business. But I'll answer your question.
Thank you.
I have nothing to do with the family business. I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. They do business all over. They've done very little with Saudi Arabia, actually. I'm sure they could do a lot. And anything they've done has been very good. That's what we've done. We've built a tremendous business for a long time. I've been very successful. I decided to leave that success behind and make America very successful. And I've made America more successful by far than it ever was, and that it ever could have been, no matter who was president. There would be nobody bringing in $21 trillion. That I can tell you right now.
He didn't like the fact she was asking those questions, as opposed to saying, wow, this is really a historic moment. I'm all for different questions, but there were certainly a lot of remarkable moments, and the media just wanted to talk about all these other things. And also, they couldn't get away from Jeffrey Epstein, and nor, of course, can the Democratic Party, who very well looks like they may have a lot of egg on their face. Listen to what Chuck Schumer said just a little bit ago.
Senator, on that note, just I guess a question that's out there. Why wouldn't they have been released the last 4 years when President Biden was in office?
Well, that's the question every American is asking. Or not every American, but so many Americans are asking. What the hell is he hiding? Why doesn't he want them released?
What the heck is he hiding? The question was, why was Biden hiding this? And then Schumer kind of pivots to Trump. Well, here is House Speaker Mike Johnson, because he put it out in plain talk and no word salads there.
This should have been done in a much more careful manner, and it was not. And I'm going to point out again, when the authors were asked to fix it, they said they weren't interested in doing that. Okay, why? Because this is a raw and obvious political exercise. Again, I'm just going to leave you with this question. You should go ask them all. If you were so concerned about the Epstein files and protecting the victims, why didn't you do a darn thing about it for the 4 years of the Biden administration? All this stuff was sitting in a warehouse, and nobody said a word about it. They didn't care. Now they're doing it. We all know why, because they're trying to attack President Trump. That's it.
And that is truly what it's all about. It's pretty obvious what the plan is there. No doubt about it. Let's go to Robert in Brooklyn. Line 2. Go ahead, Robert.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you,
And,
Robert, so much.
And, I'm going to guess, the year 2000, that was the Chinese New Year of the Dragon. So I'm going to guess that you're 25. So happy birthday and many more.
Thank you.
Well, you're talking to Norm about Marjorie Taylor Greene, who Donald Trump nicknamed Marjorie Trader Greene. And President Trump, in his postings against Marjorie Trader Greene, he said he withdrew his endorsement from her. And I just want to point out she's a pathological anti-Semite who's obsessed about Israel. And also it's come to my attention that before she came to Congress, she was worth $700,000. And now after being in Congress, she's worth $25 million.
Oh, that's interesting. By the way, Robert, didn't she make some comments too about like conspiracy theories about 9/11 too? Wasn't there something that she ultimately, I think, apologized for? Remember that?
I forgot. I don't remember.
Yeah, there was something, but you're right. But you want to hear the wild thing tonight, Robert? Jamie Raskin is out there saying, we have room for Marjorie Taylor Greene in our party. Come on over. I mean, boy. I think things will be better once this comes out, but she did kind of go off the deep end.
Well, Laura Loomer just tweeted out that there's a connection. She's coming out with something that there's a connection between the Trader Greene and George Soros, which Soros seems to have his hands in everything. But
wow! By the way, that would be really interesting, Robert. Let's see what comes out with that, because if it turns out that there's some Soros connection with Marjorie Taylor Greene, boy, oh boy. She always seemed like someone who was sort of stalwart in her beliefs. But if it turns out there's some connection, let's see. That's a wild one, though. I'll be looking for that one. That's for sure. Let's go to Mario in Manhattan, line 1. Go ahead, Mario.
Rita, we're going to go the positive, then the negative, and then end with the positive. First of all, buon compleanno, bella polacca princessa. Buon compleanno, bella Polaka princessa, and many more to come. Happy birthday to the beautiful Polish princess.
Thank you. By the way, thank you. Dziękuję bardzo. Thank you.
And now we go to the negative. 2 cops crashed today on the way to a shooting. 1 cop was shot. Thank God he's alive. The perpetrator was shot dead. Was Mandani, Mierda Mandani, was he there? Did he go to the hospital? Now, here's another thing. He didn't even attend the 9/11 memorial. He has yet to denounce those 19 scums who murdered 6,000 people. And I was there, dear. I beat cancer. Also, Rudy Giuliani, age 86, was there in his wheelchair. Now,
but hang on, Mario, because you got a lot in there. By the way, I hear what you're saying, and it is shocking to me that you're going to have a mayor, Mandani, there at the 25th anniversary of 9/11. I mean, that is such an important, huge holiday. And you're going to have Mayor Mandani there, who has all these new people around him and old people around him that have these bizarre, horrible, hate-filled comments. I just played the new one. I don't know if you heard the new one, Mario, but it's shocking. It's this individual who is running for state assembly. And this person, Aber Kawas, she's a longtime Palestinian-American activist, basically saying, the idea we have to apologize for a terror attack that a couple of people did, and there's no apology for reparations or genocide and for slavery, et cetera. In other words, that was just a little thing, no big deal. It's almost like, was it Ilhan Omar who said some people did something? It's the same sort of dismissive attitude about 9/11. And you're right, it is shocking, which is why good people need to stand up and hold him accountable to his words, to his deeds, and make sure we continue to sound the alarm on this guy, because good people, no matter whether they're Republican or Democrat, need to make sure everybody understands the stakes in this one. It is still shocking that is the guy who's going to be our mayor on the 25th anniversary. It's heartbreaking, Mario, actually. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. Let's go to Father Joseph in Pearl River, New York. Go ahead, Father Joseph.
Grant, O Lord, a long and peaceful life health, salvation, and furtherance in all good things unto thy servant Rita, and preserve and protect her for many years. God grant you many years. Or as they say in Poland, God grant you 100 years.
Thank you. God bless you. Father Joseph, thank you. You are so sweet, and I will take your blessings anytime and your prayers anytime. It means so much. You are such a sweetheart. Thank you so, so much. And tapping into my proud Polish heritage, you know how to touch my heart. Thank you, Father Joseph, very much. Let's go to Pete in Staten Island on line 3. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Rita, happy birthday. And I want to sing a quick one to you. Happy birthday, Rita. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, Rita. And thank you for being there for us. We love
Oh, we love you, Pete. We love you. And Renee, thank you very, very much. And I love that I get serenaded by Pete. Nothing better than that, my friend. Thank you so, so much. Let's go to Shannon in Merrick on line 4. Go ahead, Shannon.
Hi, Rita. Happy birthday. You're awesome.
Thank you. You are too. Thank you so much.
I wanted to find out if you heard anything about an investigation with regard to whether or not all the voters in this recent mayoral election were legitimate.
Well, I know there's a lot of questions. I mean, we know that 85% of the people that voted for him, it doesn't mean they're not legitimate, but we know that they were in New York less than 5 years. So the question is, were they all legal voters? We'll find out. I also know that there are, I mean, this is no secret. You hear that the Department of Justice is looking into some of the funds that went into his campaign. Because remember, he was 1%, suddenly got a lot of money, and then he got so far as to be able to beat Cuomo in the primary. So I feel like there's a lot of investigations. The thing is, these things take time. And obviously, they're just investigations. It doesn't mean any guilt. It just means that they're looking into it. Why? What do you think, Shannon? You think there's something there?
I think there may be.
Yeah, I do. By the way, I don't rule it out. I don't know, so I don't rule it in. I don't rule it out, but it certainly is worth exploring. And I just told you the facts, that it is really odd that the numbers were so many foreigners. You know, it's like foreign born. I mean, you look at the number. I mean, you know, you have to wonder, you know, were they all legitimate votes? You know, was there any funny business? I sure hope.
Very suspicious.
Yeah, it is.
Suspicious.
It is. And it's troubling that it's not people that have been in the city that long. You know, I'm all for, you know, people. Look, I'm a first generation American, but I never, ever felt my parents didn't love and appreciate this country, you know, and what it represented. And if somebody had said, you know, we deserve 9/11 or anything like that, they would have thought that person was nuts.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's the difference. You know, I'm all for, you know, immigration, but they have to love this country. They have to appreciate this country. And that's what makes America great. And there are so many immigrants who do. But we can't have those who don't. And so we'll see, Shannon. Let's see. I know there are people looking into the money trail and a lot more. We'll keep you posted. It's a very good question. Shannon, thank you so much. And everybody, we're going to continue your calls after the break. 1-800-848-9222. I got a few more minutes left on my birthday. I'm glad I'm with all of you guys. But first, what better way than to salute our heroes?
The Rita Cosby Show presents Support Our Heroes.
And this is the Great Tunnel to Towers Foundation Support Our Heroes segment with the powerful story from Merrillville, Indiana, where veteran Oscar Prim, who is now, get this, 104 years old, was honored and presented the True American Hero Award for his service. Veteran Prim served for 3 decades in the U.S. Army. That included deployments in World War II, the Korean War, and also Vietnam. When he was asked about being awarded, he said, quote, "This feels so good." How beautiful to see him recognized in such a beautiful way with his family also there as well. And everybody, America's heroes need your help today and every day. Donate just $11 a month to the absolutely incredible Tunnel to Towers Foundation. They do so much good for America's military and first responder heroes. Be sure to check them out at t2t.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Rita Cosby Show.
And let's go to your calls, guys. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. I just have a few minutes left of my birthday, and I am glad to be spending it with all of you guys here on the Rita Cosby Show. Let's go to Roberta in Staten Island, line 5. Go ahead, Roberta.
Oh, happy birthday for you. It's greetings.
Thank you.
Love your show.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I love being with all of you guys. Thank you.
I just want to mention that I'm so happy to hear that he's talking back to these horrible reporters, because in the first administration, they were so mean to him, especially that Jim Acosta, who I heard that CNN finally got rid of, because it's just incredible what he had to go through. So,
you're right. Look, Trump is not taking any prisoners. I think, like you said, I think at first he was sort of shocked just because, and quite frankly, Roberta, understandably shocked. Because so many people, if you saw the way they treated Barack Obama and the way they treated Joe Biden and all these others, it was like easy street. So when Trump came in the first time, he was like, whoa, where is this coming from, right? I mean, it was like night and day. They all had Trump derangement syndrome.
And they still do.
Yeah, and they still do. No, you are so right. They 100% still do. Roberta, thank you very much. Let's go to Mike in New York on line 1. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, hi. I appreciate the fact that you're stressed out about Mandani becoming the mayor. Now you know how we feel about Trump being the president. You're going to have to live with Mandani. He was elected legally. Do you know the New York City population dynamic is always the same? There was no switch over to 5 people who live here 5 years and that's it. Every year, millions of people come into New York, millions of people leave. The dynamic is
But hang on, Mike, the problem I have here, I have a problem with his policies. I've always said, I don't know if there was anything funny business or not. I can't say that, and I'm always careful on that. But hang on a second, Mike. Somebody who says, oh, I'm going to arrest Netanyahu. I'm going to tax white people. I'm going to defund the police. And I'm going to hang around people who in the past questioned if America deserved 9/11. No. That is not going to stand, Mike. New York deserves better. There are patriots in this city, and I hope he shapes up and is a better mayor than some of the things he said on the campaign and even before the campaign, because that was disgraceful, Mike, and that I will never accept. Let's go to Anastasia, line 3. Go ahead, Anastasia.
Good evening, Rita. It's wonderful to be listening to you. I want to wish you deep from my heart a very, very happy birthday. Stay healthy. I love the way you say everything. You just hit it on the dot.
Thank you, Anastasia. I love you, and I love all of you.
Thanks for listening to The Rita Cosby Show. You can hear The Rita Cosby Show weeknights at 10 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?